This is Aaron Levine, LG Insurance Agency, here on another episode of the Who You Work With Matters podcast. I'm with my friend Casey Murphy from HF Planners, Commercial Interior Design, whatever that means. We're going to figure it out. We're going to talk about lighting. We're also going to can we talk about toilets?
We can talk about toilets. I think it's going to make you happy.
We just have to bring it up because I think it's important when you're designing a commercial space. Everybody's got to go.
Yes, they do.
I don't know if it's priority number. Oh gosh, I was just about to say number 1 or number 2. That came out wrong.
I think it came out exactly right.
That came out kind of perfect. But again, I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Our friend, Darcy Flanders made sure to get you on this podcast.
Yes,
She's been on the show before. We all know each other through our Blue Water Wave network of people. Shout out to Bridget Sorensen. I love the networking that we get to do there. Bridget does a great job of keeping us all connected and together as often as we possibly can. Sometimes
yes, she does.
There's too much, but again, we can't attend it all, but there's things for everybody. So if you ever want to do some excellent networking, let Casey or I know. We're happy to bring you into the mix on what we do. So again, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about who you are, what you do, and what commercial interior design is, and then we can kind of go into the who's that fit into that.
All right, that sounds good. So Casey Murphy, Director of Projects for HF Planners. We are a women-owned and operated commercial interior design firm. So if you think of, it's like architecture, but for the inside of a building, right? So we're not doing core and shell work, but if it goes inside of a building, new walls, new layout, finishes, of course, lighting and toilets, we can't leave those out, then we are your team. Exactly.
So every time you walk into a commercial building, do you cringe? Do you notice things? You pick up.
I'm definitely analyzing
everything going on, right? Whether you're like, ooh, I like that. I can bring that, translate that to a project.
Yes.
Or that's god awful. We need to fix that.
Yes.
Because I've heard these conversations going on in certain commercial spaces, not to be named, that we've done some networking in. But does that drive you nuts that every time you walk into a space, and now we're in this great studio, and you were watching James and Neil, put the wires away and make sure everything was perfect. You're like extra critical, and I know they were doing an extra good job to make sure that they checked that box for you.
Yeah, so they were being very careful with their wire management, which is something that I always notice.
They are the best here.
Very clearly they are. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, when I walk into a space, is it beautiful? Is it code compliant? Right. I think that's the first thing that I kind of start analyzing is the building safe?
Okay.
Is it ADA compliant? Is there proper egress? And that sounds a little nutty, but that is generally the first thing that I look at. And then, is it well lit? Is it providing its end users with all of the different functions that they need?
Right. So we were hanging out in the hallway. We had a lighting conversation because they put some lighting on outside while we were waiting, because we were looking at potentially another space to shoot in today, but we're back in our comfortable space. And then I'm like, my building, right, where my lead tenant, the main tenant in my space, moved out recently. And now the landlord came back in yesterday, now that there's 8,000 square feet vacant, and is like, we need to replace all the lights in here. Like, no shit. You've had to replace the lights in here for the last 8 years.
Yeah, just waited till Aaron was leaving.
Now he's going to pay for it because now he has to attract a tenant, right? It's not just replace 1 or 2 bulbs.
Oh, no, you got to swap it out for all LED fixtures.
Right. Everything's got to be uniform.
Yes.
And I say have the same color, but you say have the same temperature.
Yeah, the same color temperature. Yes, we are both correct. And so lighting temperature, not to get into too annoying technical, but it's measured in kelvins.
Okay.
Right. So something that's 2,700 kelvins is going to be really warm light, something that you'd use in your home, or a very particular vibe in a commercial space. Usually 3,500 is comfortable for most end users, and they go up to 5,000, sometimes 7,000, and that's just like that white.
So what's
cool.
optimal for productivity in an office space versus an industrial space? Is there different, for different environments?
Yes, there is. I don't think that it's a steadfast rule. I like 3,500 for office space. You want to go with a higher number for industrial space, like warehouses, because you just need bright in a warehouse, right? Make sure that somebody's safe. In an office, people are looking at computer screens. So they're not necessarily getting lit for tasks because most of their tasks are on a computer screen. So you just want to make sure that they can move about the space comfortably.
But you don't want it so dim that it's
you don't want it sleepy dim.
Sexy, sleepy mood lighting.
No, you don't want sexy. No. No, you do not want that. But you also don't want people to feel like they're in an interrogation room either. It can be
so no swinging light bulbs.
No swinging light bulbs.
No swinging light bulbs. And being in here where we are in the studio, the lighting is the most important thing, and that's why we come and shoot at Racked. Like they make sure that we're well lit. Besides, obviously, the audio quality that we get out of being here. You know, the lighting is super important. When you go into the black box, we went in with James before, and they've got a whole new set of lighting rigs.
That was very cool to see.
You know, it's pretty neat, the technology behind the lighting stuff today. The light bulb is not just a light bulb anymore.
No, it is not. And the things they have in the studio are so out of my wheelhouse. That is specialty stuff, but it's very cool to see.
So how did you get into commercial interior design? Did you wake up and say, I want to redesign office buildings?
No, I did not. So I started my career, I started college as a painting major. I went to art school.
Okay.
And I was going to be a painter.
So you're creative.
I am a creative, yes. But I think I realized about halfway through my freshman year that I wanted something with a little more technical, a little bit more structure.
A little bit more money.
A little bit more money, a little more,
stability.
Stability, yes, that's exactly the right word. So I went to Pratt in Brooklyn, and they had this amazing interior design program that really focused on adaptive reuse.
Okay.
And so that was kind of my dream, was to take buildings that had been abandoned or underutilized and transform them into something that people would use every day.
Okay.
So, you know, back then, you know, it was in Brooklyn, it was like take an old sugar factory and turn it into residence.
That's cool.
Yes. And one firm that I worked for, we took an old church and turned it into condos. So that's kind of where it started.
And did you ever want to get into the residential side of it, or you always wanted the bigger box commercial project?
So I was in residential.
Okay.
For 5 years, I want to say, high-end residential. I renovated brownstones.
Oh, sweet.
It was very cool.
That's very cool.
Very, very cool. But most of our clientele were like hedge fund managers. And so it took a turn, you know, between 2008 and 2010. And I landed in commercial, and I love it.
Okay.
You reach more people that way.
So do you prefer ground up construction, or do you like that rehab?
I like
feel?
the rehab.
The rehab.
I
feel.
love the rehab.
You get to keep some of the character of the building, bring some of the old character back to life.
Exactly correct.
Right? And then add the modern elements with it, right? So you have so much more opportunity there.
Exactly. It can be transformative.
So cool. Okay.
So I worked on a co-working space in Morristown that had these old tin ceilings, exposed brick walls. And you know, some people might have said, "Oh, we need to just make this a nice, clean vanilla box." But the owner was amazing. We kept the brick walls. We found really cool, like vintage lighting.
Okay.
And it's. I
feel like you always want to keep the exposed brick.
I always want to keep the exposed brick. Not everybody wants.
At least on one or two walls, right? Like
yes.
You don't need it on all four walls, but
that would be an acoustic nightmare. We don't want it on all four walls. Just one wall. Yes.
That's so fun. So tell me, what are you working on right now? I know you've got a couple of different projects going on right now. You have some ground up and some rehab, or just rehab work?
Just rehab.
Okay.
Yes, we are very much just a rehab renovation. Okay. So right now, my day today was actually, I was in Wilmington this morning.
Okay.
We're renovating 32 bathrooms for a banking client.
The toilet conversation.
The toilet, yes, this is how it started. Toilets are very important. And after my site meeting there, so then I went to actually a client that we finished the project 8 years ago.
Okay.
And we have another client that wants to tour their building, and I had to check to make sure they didn't, ruin the space. And it is beautiful. It is still pristine. It still looks fresh. I got a great compliment. I said, "How was it to maintain?" And he said, "Oh, super easy." Because that's one of our goals.
Okay.
Is for facility managers is to make sure that we don't create a maintenance nightmare for them. You have a beautiful design, but if you have white shag carpeting, that's not going to look good in a year. Right, so that
needs to get shampooed every month. It's a problem.
Oh, and a lot of facilities don't have that kind of maintenance budget.
Right.
So you want to make sure that it's going to look fabulous in 8 years.
Okay. All right. So going back to the bathrooms, I have to do it.
Toilets and lighting.
If I'm rehabbing a building, and this isn't even a rehab, you're redoing 32 bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Why am I hiring a designer to redo a bathroom?
So you're not just hiring you hire the designer to design the bathrooms, and then you're hiring a project manager to make sure that when there are field conditions that the contractor doesn't necessarily know how to solve a problem, they're going to come to me and say,
so you're working with it through the entire process.
Absolutely.
From design to finish.
Start to finish.
Gut the existing space and put it back together again, and then check on it to make sure it's put together correctly.
Exactly correct. Yes. Right? Yeah. An ideal, like a super ideal situation, we're even helping you shop for your building.
Okay.
So that's I have a pharmaceutical client right now in Princeton. So it's actually great. He's like one of my favorites to work with. He's wonderful.
Okay.
So this is the third company he's been with in 10 years and the third project we've worked on with him.
Okay.
So, facility directors are generally our go-to contact point. And he said, we're looking at new North American headquarters. I have a broker, I have a lawyer, I have all this, but I need someone with your eye to tell me how much it's going to cost to renovate this, what's good in the building, what's bad in the building.
Right.
So we did due diligence with him on, we're on the second, so first building, we said, amazing building, really cool bones. It's going to cost you so much money to renovate it. And so we landed on the second building, and we are now renovating 100,000 square feet of it.
Okay. So you look at that, right, not just for renovating it in cost, but also for flow, right? You want to make sure the capacity of the building
absolutely
is going to meet the need. The flow of the employees is going to work appropriately. Yes. There's so much more going on than just toilets and lighting.
Oh, it is much more than toilets and lighting. So something like that, right? You talk about capacity. So if the building is built in, say, 1980, right, and its stairwells are teeny weeny and skinny, is that going to meet the head count that the client wants to put on their floor? Open offices, the footprint is smaller. People aren't in these gigantic cubicles and huge private offices. They're in what's called a benching workstation, right?
Is that still a thing?
It is still a thing.
Okay.
It absolutely is. I thought it was going to go away.
I thought it was going to go away too.
It hasn't gone away. No, it has not gone away. So, if in the 80s they had, 60 people on a floor, but now they need 200 on a floor. Or can they get out safely during a fire? So those sort of analytics we're doing, early on in the process.
I love how everything is still risk management focused, safety first.
Always.
Which is, when I'm insuring a building, I don't ever ask about capacity, right? Those are fire code issues. We don't ask, we ask how many employees, but that's more of a general count, risk related. But we don't talk about egress. We want to make sure that there's enough egress that meets the code. But at the same time, we don't like, do you have 200 people on the floor, but the floor only has a capacity for 60 people? Like, we don't get that deep into it. So I love the fact that you're taking it to that level to understand and help the facilities management team and the executives understand whether the building can actually work or not, and whether you can grow or shrink in the building without causing too much disruption.
That's exactly correct.
Right? Because sometimes you have to shrink, and then you don't want a barren building.
Exactly. Yeah, then you have too much square footage.
Right.
And actually, that is a lot of what we've been doing, because people are now doing, much better work-life balance. So people are only coming in the office maybe Tuesday through Thursday, or just in general, only 30% of your workforce is coming in.
Right.
If somebody has a 15-year lease, and they're only 2 years into it, it might not be realistic to abandon that space. So how do we transform that space to focus on collaboration or, Teams rooms? How are we using the space differently when only a third of your employee population is coming in on a day-to-day basis?
Okay.
Yes.
I like that. There's so many things. And now I'm like thinking how bad my space is. I'm like, most of my team is remote. So,
but you know what? For the few people that do come in, you want it to be great, right?
We want it to be, we want it. We want it to be great. I think they've got it pretty good, but who knows? You're not invited. You're going to cost me.
You don't want me in your.
You're going to cost me way too much money, and I don't control the lighting or the toilets. Although we do control the lighting. If I had to put lighting in it's like, it's a little dark in this corner, so we made sure he got the lighting that he needed to be present and focused and, have the correct mood set.
Yes.
Right. I think so. I totally believe it. It makes a lot of sense. So you're really an important who, not just for the building owners and the executive teams, but for the contractors as well, because you're bringing a vision to life.
Yes.
The contractors may be executing with saws and hammers.
Yes.
And the materials that you pick out, but you want to make sure that they're executing correctly.
Absolutely. We put together a set of construction or contract documents, and they're building against that. But there's always things that happen in the field, and I'm not sure how to respond to this, or I'm not sure how to problem solve this. So, if you're in the field and you have 3 different ways to solve a problem, there might be something you're not thinking of.
Right.
And that's what we're there for, to support them going forward.
So how are spaces transforming today to bring more people back to the office, right? Because I know there's been, especially the last year, 2025 was a big everybody back to work.
Yes.
The boats are full again, you know, going back into Manhattan. Our space is transforming to make people want to be back in the office again?
They are. That's the goal. It's all about employee experience now. You're competing with people's homes.
Okay.
Right? With their homes, they don't want to commute.
So you're putting washers and dryers so they can do their laundry during the workday like they do at home?
Well, sometimes childcare is being added in, right? Because no, that's a very good question. Dry cleaning services. Sometimes you really want to make people feel comfortable, and you have to make it worth it.
Right.
If you're on Teams calls all day long, there is no need to go into the office.
Right.
But if you're collaborating with your coworkers, and the space is inspirational, and you feel safe going there,
right?
There's inclusivity is such a huge part of it too. You know, people with different ways of working, and you want to make sure that everybody feels like they can move about the space safely. And then back to lighting, right? For some folks that are neurodivergent, they don't want lights glaring in their faces. It prevents them from concentrating. So all those things you have to take into consideration to make people actually want to be in the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember one of the coolest campuses that I was ever on was down in St. Petersburg, Florida, for one of my insurance companies. And they had a traditional campus. They had a child care facility. They had a full court basketball court inside, nice. Big gym. Cafeteria was more of a restaurant than it was like a cafeteria line.
Very nice.
Making you want to eat lunch on-prem. And they also had a sand volleyball court in the courtyard.
Wow.
Right? So they would, that was during a period of time when it was encouraged to stay at work late and spend your social hours there. Nobody wants to do that anymore.
No, they do not.
So you're not seeing the social things, but we're making it as comfortable as possible to make people enjoy being in the office. I think it's important to want to be there. Like, I'm guilty. There's certain times I don't want to be in the office because I'd rather be out doing something else.
Yep.
I live on my mobile device, but, I like the people that I'm with in the office.
Yeah.
So that's what's important to me, is being around the right people, and they need to be comfortable being in the office because it works full circle.
Yes, it absolutely does. I know, like my own firm, we're not a huge firm, but we are. There's really a lot of positivity. Like our company culture is about like no egos. When it's all hands on deck, it's all hands on deck. Everybody's opinion matters, and we want people to feel like that in their office space, right? So they exactly what you said. They want to come to work. They want to be around the people that inspire them.
Right.
Yeah.
So if your office space sucks,
absolutely correct.
Reach out to
me,
Casey, because you'll connect her with the facilities people
to
make it better so that you want to go to work, and then they're going to tell you they don't have the budget for it anyway. So
but we can find a way to find the budget. There are rebates and all sorts of programs. That's actually a very important point, is that sometimes people think, I could never afford to renovate the space.
Right.
We love helping people develop budgets early on. So sometimes you need to phase the project. And there are some killer rebate programs in New Jersey for sustainability initiatives.
So what's next on the design front for, let's just say for office space, right? Like what's on the horizon? What are we seeing as the future of office space?
I think a really it's not an easy answer because it's not one size fits all.
Okay.
Right. So we've definitely gone through periods where it was like open office is everything, or wild amenities like slides and ping pong tables are the thing to do. Now it's really about customizing to how your end users work.
Okay.
And that's kind of always been our approach, but I think clients are more receptive to that now. So a banking client might have a very, very different work style or workflow than, a law firm. Very, very different. And that's, we listen. We want to make sure that...
Is there still a focus towards ergonomics and comfort and, right? So I know we talked, obviously, ADA early on, which is super important because that prevents lawsuits when something goes awry. But like ergonomics can be, is an issue. Because you want people to be comfortable.
For both comfort and also lawsuits, right?
Right, that's true.
I have back problems because I was sitting in a horrible chair and nobody cared about how I was working.
I've had those workers' comp claims. I've seen those. Those have come through.
We don't want those.
And they're very expensive because they don't go away.
No, they do not. That's a long-term problem. No, so the right way of working, is do you have a keyboard tray? Are you standing? So sit-to-stand desks were a huge trend 10 years ago, but those are here to stay.
Right.
If you can't stand up at some point during your workday or move, activity-based working helps too. It's not just, physically I'm sitting in my chair properly.
Right.
Am I getting up every 30 minutes to take a quick lap?
I need to walk. If I don't get a walk during the day, like I'll take calls while I'm out for a walk, but I need to walk. If I sit for too long,
You got to move.
I go stir crazy.
Yes.
Like, and I am so much more mentally clear when I'm out walking. And if I'm on a phone call while I'm walking, I'm giving that person that I'm speaking to my undivided attention.
Yes.
Unless there's a car that's about to hit me. But
Don't get hit
if
by
I'm
a
sitting
car.
at the desk talking to somebody, I'm still typing. Yeah. There's too many other things, and our brains can only process one thing at a time.
It's
Even
true.
though people claim to be multitaskers, you're just switching between tasks very quickly. You're not really multitasking.
Exactly. And maybe not giving one of those tasks your undivided.
Right.
Your
and
full
that's
attention.
where mistakes happen. So I love the activity-based working, and I'm always on the phone doing that. We have some sit to stand desks. My wife stands, I think, all day long. I don't think she sits at her desk at all. She's always standing at her desk. But she's worked from home. She's been working from home for a long time, so she has a good sit to stand environment, but she stands all day. I've thought about getting the tread. I'm like, the walking pad. I'm like, I'll never use it. It'll be one of those things that gets pushed aside and collects all the dust.
Our owner, Caroline Shelley, she's amazing. She just got one a couple weeks ago. She uses it every day. I mean, it is still new in it, but she loves it. She loves it.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do it. But you're on the computer. You have the computer up high, and you're typing away while you're walking. You're on Zoom calls and you're bopping around. I don't know.
No, she just walks slow and steady, typing her emails. I think it's the same thing. I think it helps her concentrate.
Yeah. That makes sense. I love it. What did I miss? What else do you want to share with us?
All right, so the clients that we cater to, right? We love banking clients. So large corporations. Banks, pharma, flavor and fragrance companies, one of our favorites.
Okay.
New Jersey is a little hot spot for flavor and fragrance. So that's sort of one corporate model. And then our other ideal client are, single-owned companies like law firms, accounting, title companies. Those are sort of single project, endeavors. But the corporations, we really like to, sometimes we start small to kind of build that trust and rapport with our client. And then it can blow up. Really, it's kind of amazing. My client in Wilmington, we started doing just a little tiny cafe in their New Jersey campus.
Okay.
And, we connect. We like to fold ourselves in with the facilities team so we understand how they work, what's important, what's their company culture. And, then wow, those ladies at HF Planners are kind of awesome to work with. And would you like to do a job in Wilmington? Would you like to do a job in Florida? And it's, yeah, of course we would. Absolutely we would.
I mean, you hit two great words, culture and experience, super important for the employees, super important for guests of the facility to, have an experience, not to be there with poor lighting, low ceilings, and just feel claustrophobic, right?
You want to be excited and comfortable. Yeah. And all the good things you want to feel when you're trying to do work or collaborate. You don't want to be like, oh, this is.
I love it. So if I ever move my office, I'll be sure to take you on the road to go look at some spaces.
Yes, please.
And because we'll really want to do it right. If I do ever move again, we're going to go all in and make it the best experience for my team. So Casey, again, thanks so much for joining me today.
I learned
so much about lighting and toilets and everything else in between. And I look forward to seeing one of your projects maybe one of these days. I think would be so cool.
Absolutely. We'll do a tour.
That sounds great. Awesome.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.